Good morning, everybody on YouTube. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Today I thought I would cover something that I've been getting some emails about and just happened to have an issue with it yesterday, so I guess it's a good time to actually discuss these type of things. When you're doing vintage video repairs, I've had people ask me about these flat screen monitors and what pieces of crap they are. Yes, folks, these things are a big piece of crap. I mean, flat screen monitors is not really the optimal choice for a monitor when you're doing vintage video repairs. But unfortunately, this is just the way it is these days, and I prefer a broadcast monitor if I happen to have an old school one, which I do not have. So I have to, fall victim to the flat screen monitors like everybody else. All right, when you're doing vintage video repairs and you're doing flat screen monitor playback, you're going to notice that some flat screen monitors go into the blue, especially when you're doing very old vintage video, like black and white stuff and type of things on some of these old machines. And some of these flat screen monitors don't like the sync or video sync of these old units. And it will go in the black or blue and stay in there, and then it'll come back, and then you'll get a picture, and then it go back in the blue, and that type of thing. Okay. If you're using a flat screen monitor to work on vintage video equipment such as this, reel-to-reel, or anything that's very old that has funky video sync on it, which is not like modern sync that was used on various other video equipment, you're going to have a flat screen monitor that goes into blue or black, or a flat screen monitor that just doesn't hold your video signal very well so you can monitor what you're doing. There's two ways around this. First of all, if you have a time-based corrector or just a small time-based corrector, something small that you can actually connect in between your equipment to maintain the signal through the flat screen monitor, I recommend it, just so you'll get a solid signal. But in some flat screen monitors, such as the one I got here, since the one I just had that I was using was a piece of junk and it actually caught on fire, believe it or not. What a piece of crap that thing was. This is an older Sony monitor. It's several years old. Let's say maybe 5 or 6 years old. It has the RCA composite connections on the back. But the interesting thing about this particular monitor, it doesn't go in the blue screen. If you get video glitches or unstable video playback on some of these old vintage video decks that I'm repairing, it just goes into black just a moment, and then it goes back into the correct picture. So I really do like this monitor. I don't have to have a time-based corrector in between, especially when I'm just using it for viewing purposes, when I'm doing vintage video repairs. So anyways, I bought these small little monitors, which you've seen on my table 100 times. Well, that thing would go in the blue screen, and sometimes the signal wouldn't come back for a while when I'm trying to monitor video, when I'm doing a repair. Total pieces of crap. But a lot of these places that make these flat screen TVs, they make that circuitry where it goes in the blue screen for, if there's no video there, or come up on screen, no video available, and be in a blue screen type of thing. So if you're doing any vintage video repairs, or if you find the blue screen being very annoying, try to look for some of the flat screens, the older flat screens that are a few years back. They go into the black screen, and then they'll come back into your video. You don't get that blue screen, so you can still monitor your video during your repair or whatever you're doing. And I just think the older flat screens are more a correct purpose for vintage video repairs, because it's very hard to monitor your video when you're doing a repair, especially on these flat screens. I prefer the tube type monitors, the broadcast ones used in a day, but unfortunately I do not have one. Or you could just put a small little time-based corrector in between your flat screen monitor and the video deck you're repairing to keep a solid signal. But anyways, flat screen TVs are a real pain in the ass because a lot of them do different things, especially the new ones. A lot of the new ones don't even have composite RCA inputs. Most of them are just Ethernet, the internet type of connection, or HDMI, or USBs. They don't even have the inputs with the RCA ins on some of the newer ones that's out, which are going all internet anyways. So you're going to have to really dig for the older monitors, especially if you're doing vintage video recovery or repairs. But anyways, my flat screen monitor that I bought for my bench that I do my repairs on, the thing actually caught on fire. It was really weird. Solid smoke out of the back of the thing when I was doing a repair. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But anyways, I had this monitor and it was given to me. I fixed it a couple weeks back. It just needed new capacitors and I set it on the side in case I ever needed to use it. And yesterday I needed to use it. And unfortunately, you know, like I said, these monitors are a real pain in the ass depending on which one you get. If you're doing any bench repair work, you do need a time-based corrector in between because a lot of them go in the blue screen and you just can't get a solid signal when you're doing vintage video repairs. You know, the snow and everything else when you're checking video playback. These monitors sense video signal. If it's not there, it goes into blue screen or it just doesn't come up for a while. So you do need like a time-based corrector in between or an old school monitor to do the repair, which is a solid signal. But these flat screen TV or monitors are real pieces of crap, especially when you're doing vintage video repair. You do have to have a time-based corrector in between so you can monitor everything you're doing with a solid signal. Or just go with the old school monitors, which are the broadcast ones. But, you know, a lot of those are all wore out. You can find them on eBay, but I just didn't want to get a big bulky TV monitor to do repairs. So anyways, I got this Sony monitor, and this thing is pretty kick-ass. It's about 6 years old. Any video inconsistencies, it goes into black for a second, and then it goes back to the video signal. So I don't need a time-based corrector in between to do a video repair, and this is really kind of an answer to my problem, especially for playing back some vintage videos, checking video heads and various different things. But this goes into black for a second, and then it goes back into the video signal. Some TVs, some of the older ones, have built-in time-based correction built into them to where they go into black and they don't have that annoying blue screen. They're just built better. They have they accept the signal a lot better than some other flat screen TVs. So, you know, just experiment. If you got a bunch of flat screen TVs laying around, several of them that, you know, that were given to you, or you're just, you know, doing some vintage video recovery or playback, experiment with them and see which one holds the signals better and doesn't give you that annoying blue screen crap. Or, you know, you're going to have to use the time-based corrector in between, especially if you're doing repairs or maybe you're doing vintage video recovery. Flat screen TVs, boy, I'll tell you, these things are a real piece of shit. But unfortunately, this is what's being used these days, and they're good for watching TV and broadcast television. That's pretty much what they're designed for, but they're not designed for to be used like for a monitor if you're not putting it in a broadcast type of environment using like time-based correctors and other things. So I hope this kind of gives you a little information about flat screen TVs. You do need to experiment. You may need a time-based corrector, but if you're getting that annoying black screen or blue screen and you're dealing with old video equipment such as I am, it'd be a good idea to pick up a time-based corrector for it. Or if you have other TVs, just jump around and experiment and see which television gives you the best picture. So I hope you enjoyed this video.